Live from Liberty Street Restaurant in the downtown Galleria, it's the Paul Hornung Sports Showcase with your host, College and Pro Football Hall of Famer, Paul Hornung. Brought to you by UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business. By the Collins Auto Group, where one name means more. More selection, more value, more service. By Humana, high-quality healthcare services at affordable prices. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down the silver bullet. By your local Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, where every day is a celebration of food. And now, here's Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and welcome finally to our last show. 21 weeks ago, we started this little venture, and before I go any further in this show, we've got a great crowd on hand here at the Liberty Street Restaurant. You'd think Bill Curry was going to be here or something, but how about it for Bill Curry? He is here. He is here, and we're going to be talking to Bill. Before I go any further, I want to thank two people who really bent over backwards for me all year long. Let me use this nice restaurant downtown. Maury and Dave Bucart, where are they? Right over here. Thank you very much. We couldn't have done it without you two gentlemen. Thank you, Dave. Well, this is it. Like I said, it was 21 weeks ago when we started out. We got a football coach to start it out and a football coach to end it. That very first week, I had Lou Holtz on as my first guest. And since then, in fact, I did a little something in the studio. You know, everybody thinks when you do one of these shows, you just walk in, turn on the camera, and that happens. Well, it's not like that. In fact, Greg Leslie and I spent 6 hours putting together a little piece of tape I'm going to show you. And then we're going to talk to Bill Curry. We're going to talk to him for a good 20 to 25 minutes. So we're going to have a nice conversation. But first, be right back after these timeouts with the whole show. Thank you.
Some insurance.
I'll just leave it in.
Didn't even pay for your mom's allergy shots.
Well, you were cold last month. And because I didn't reach the deductible, it didn't pay for my stitches.
Humana has a range of plans to meet your needs. From affordable deductibles to no deductible at all.
Sue, what did my company insurance cover last year?
Nothing.
If you want coverage you can use, you want Humana.
What's the advantage of leasing a new Buick from Good Buick? It's simple. You can purchase a 1990 Century and pay $259 a month for 60 months, or lease that same car for $177 a month for only 48 months. Purchase a 1990 Riviera for $459 a month for 60 months, or lease a Riviera for $387 a month for only 48 months.
Your Hall of Fame dealer.
It's to everyone's advantage to lease. Good Buick, where the great American road leads.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries.
Oh, you've been wanting Ian Alistair McKenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people.
Also for McKenzie. Aye.
Including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad? No trouble at all.
UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-size helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex.
Chi-Chi's a celebration of food.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top,
It's the right beer now.
because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you gotta start with a mountain stream.
It's the right beer now.
When a night on the town might last all night, call for the taste preferred at better night spots. The silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right beer now.
Okay. Thank you very much. And before we have a conversation with Bill Curry, I want to tell you that, like I was saying, 21 weeks ago we started this show with hopefully to give the Louisville and Kentuckiana area an opportunity, and give me an opportunity to produce a show here on Store Cable Channel 11 that I thought would be very interesting on a local level and still have a little national flavor. And I think we've done that, and we've had a good time. We've all learned a lot from the experiences. And I'll tell you what, I thought it would be good. Greg and I got in the studio yesterday, and it took a little bit longer than we thought. It took six hours to put together this next piece. And everybody has the best of shows and everything. This is not the best of the Paul Hornung Sports Showcase, but I tell you, it's an interesting look at some of our guests. Take a look.
What Vince Lombardi was through, and you played for him, and you find it in all fields of endeavor, and what you have to do is you just have to come back and rally together. And I didn't think we played very well at the University of Virginia, but I do think that we've had 3 great days of practice. I do believe we're a much better football team now than we were 3 days ago, but are we good enough to beat Michigan or not? I don't know, because they tell me that Bo has been looking forward to this game for 8 months. But I find that hard to believe, because Bo said winning the conference the only thing that's really important, and we aren't in the Big Ten Conference, so this isn't a real big game for him, I gotta say.
It was raining, and the plane was there and everything else, but it was just we had to stay on the airport on runway, that business there, then coming in here.
And look, look at the money you get for this, though.
Yeah, oh, it's big money. You think I could get something to eat later?
We can feed. How about that? You remember that putt? That's a Byron Nelson Classic, of course, and that's this past year. That putt was worth how much money to Mr. Mudd?
Oh, it's hard to say, but it was worth quite a bit.
How about $180,000?
$180,000, okay. So everybody knows now.
Browning-Nagle is so close to what Jim Kelly was in his first year, and they are so similar, and what they've done in their first 2 starts are so similar that we just might have another Jim Kelly in the making.
Got a good arm, very strong arm, didn't he?
Very strong. The thing that I like in him so much is he's the same type of riverboat gambler, confident, almost as confident as you were when you were a quarterback.
Well, him being at Trinity and I being at DeSales, I knew who he was. Of course, he was at UK when I came here. But today we had a fun practice today. We got after it a little bit, and we got a little camaraderie going. You know, when you come up and hit head to head like we did today, you just kind of, he hit the ground after I hit him, but no. But
well, I don't know about the singer and the golfer. I just want to be successful, and I just want the team to be successful.
Well, so far you've had a great career, and I think that in just the 4 games that you've played quarterback in U of L, you've changed it all. You don't wish to do that, right?
Nah, I've been.
You don't really believe that the Bengals owe you a year.
Nah, I've been stealing from those guys for too long, man. They know better.
I'll tell you what, you're the first one. You're the most refreshing thing I've talked to in a long time. I tell you, most of them think they owe them a building when they leave. You know.
Nah, the only thing that I ask is that Boomer Esiason allow me to continue to play golf with him, so I can keep making a living, paying my bills, and they brought me down here. I played this Valhalla down here. Have you played that course down there?
I've shot 110 out there.
Holy smokes! You people in Louisville are crazy. That's not the way. Golf courses aren't supposed to go to a green and then you have like a volcano on top with a green like this. That's not the way you're supposed to play golf. You're supposed to be able to go up and and like look cool on the golf course. Shooting 110 is not cool, Paul. There's nothing cool about that.
Well, we had a lot of fun with the league, Paul, because really everybody in the league had a different personality. And at that particular time, if you didn't use the giant system, as you remember, if you didn't use the 4-3 and use 2 formations, they looked at you like they were smelling something, and so they thought we were all crazy by what we had done with the defenses and the offenses.
The biggest in racing, I mean.
How many people are they going to be able to put in Gulfstream Park Saturday?
Well, Gulfstream holds about 35, and they'll have 50 in there.
Yeah, we had 71,000 here at Churchill Downs last year.
Well, yes, but you're Churchill Downs can handle it.
Yeah.
I don't think Gulfstream can.
It's great being here always in Louisville and all these fine people out here, and of course Churchill Downs is a special place. I love.
How many years you been coming to the Derby?
Well, I don't know. You brought me here in about 1969, and I've been coming most of the time ever since, and it's a great place. Good people here, and I've always been interested in horses and own some of my own, and you know, it's great to be here. And you know, you're always my idol, you know, because you were one of the best run-pass option guys, and I always wanted to be like you.
I really treated the players, the college ranks as well as the NBA, the same.
In the college ranks, I tell everybody, run through a wall, here's how you're going to do it, and they all go. In the pro ranks, you have to turn on different switches, but when I walked in, I would just treat the guys the same way, and I'd go up to Patrick and say, what do you feel like doing today, Patrick? So it changes.
Yeah, but you don't go up to any of these kids today down here and say, what do you feel like doing today, do you?
No, I think it changes. I was fortunate in the NBA, and the reason that we had such a good relationship, when my guys were young, it may be a little different. The way I coach, the enthusiasm I have for the game may grow a little old for the veteran of 9 or 10 years, but I didn't have that. Patrick Ewing, Mark Jackson, Gerald Wilkins, they're all young pros, so they weren't really in the habit of going through the rigors of the NBA yet.
You cope with the rumors. I'm sure you hear and we hear. I've heard there's going to be 4 different head coaches at the University of Kentucky coming up. What do you do when you hear that? I heard some crazy rumor last week that Mike Gottfried was going to be the next coach of UK. I heard Hart Schnellenberger may come up here. I mean, how do you feel when does this get to you?
Paul, I guess I watch less television and read fewer papers than anybody in the country. So I don't pay any attention to it. And I do my job and work as hard as I can, and that's all I can do. And I've been coaching too long to worry about rumors and worrying about people saying this or people saying that. All I'm trying to do is get our players ready to play Tennessee, and each week I just bust my tail trying to get them ready to play the game that week.
It's always a pleasure to come back to Louisville. It's like, you know, coming back to the old hometown, and I enjoy seeing everybody. I'm basically in business, Paul. I've been in the printed circuit board business for the past 4 or 5 years in Baltimore. It's a high technology electronic circuit boards which we build for computer industries, military application, and commercial use. And basically, I'm out doing all the selling.
It's down there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the hurricane is, you know, it's over now, but then, like, we're going down there to play the Orange Bowl against Colorado. It's been a totally different story because I think that we learned that, you know, no matter how you play the game, and because we got to play that intensity, that nobody's going to defeat us anymore, and that's the kind of attitude we take us far in this world.
Dan, now you made a lot of money in basketball, but not anything close to this. I know you'd like to be playing today.
We just signed Blair Rasmussen, one of our players, and he only got $17.5 million for 7 years.
And I'll guarantee you, people in Kentucky follow basketball probably better than any other state, and there's a lot of them that do not know who Blair Rasmussen is.
Well, you know, the thing about it is with free agency, it's all just like anything else in life, Paul. It's a matter of timing.
That's right. It wasn't frozen like Green Bay is. Because the only thing in Green Bay is a toilet paper factory, isn't it? I mean, you talk about...
Well, I'll tell you one thing, nobody's ever going to be out of a job there.
No, no.
You understand?
You talk about a crappy town, you got the toilet paper cap. I talk about Buffalo, we had steel mills. These are hard-working people. Yeah. But, you know, when a guy says your resume, what did you do? I wrapped toilet paper in a roll.
You've never seen harder worker people in your life making toilet paper, I'll tell you that.
Bears, over the last 2 or 3 years, they've lost probably 5 or 6 all-pro football players. Walter Payton, Gary Fenton, Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall, Willie Gault, and Jim McMahon. And now they don't have anybody to replace those players. So the Green Bay Packers are getting better, the Detroit Lions getting better, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course the Minnesota Vikings has always had a good football team.
Guess who's here? Yeah, guess who's here along with Denny Crum? Let's welcome Felton Spencer from Eastern High School. All right. I tell you, they've turned into a love affair with Felton lately, right?
That's very deserving, too, on both parts. Felton's worked probably as hard or harder than any player I've ever coached, Paul, and any accolades that he's earned, he certainly has earned, because he's really one of those unique young men that just... He just said it a minute ago. Paul says, well, with your bronchitis and pneumonia and all that, he says, coach doesn't yell at you too much in practice. He says, we don't give him any reason to yell. and that's the truth. This team is not. They work hard every day out there.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think for a small little cable show in Louisville, we had some really fine guests on for the past 21 weeks, and I'm ending up probably my biggest way because the gentleman sitting to my right, Bill Curry, is going to be my guest, and we'll be right back with Bill.
When only the best is good enough, you'll always find the best at Roof Lighting. Diverse designs, superior styling, unsurpassed quality, and a professional staff to assist you. That's Roof. And opening soon, Roof's new lighting design center in Eastgate, just east of Middletown. An additional location to serve your total lighting needs. Roof Lighting, the complete lighting, design, and planning centers. Here for you because you deserve the very best.
Here's to the people who work so hard to keep our city going. And here's to all the things you do to keep our city growing. Here's to the people we're looking to make this city's dreams come true. To the people, hard-working people, Bank of Louisville's here for you.
Beautiful furniture from who? Smith's Furniture, that's who. It brings out the best in everyone.
Hi, I'm Paul Hornung. You know, 7 years ago, I decided to let J.C. Bradford handle my IRA. Why? Well, they've always given me great advice, and their track record has always been very good. Maybe that's why more than 43,000 people have over $1 billion in retirement accounts here at J.C. Bradford. So if you have an eye on the future, take a tip from me. Let J.C. Bradford clear the way.
Home-cooked mashed potatoes. In all this fast food synthetic world, there's nothing like them. Hardly a restaurant anywhere will take the time to serve you this much goodness, except one, the Banquet Table Buffet. And real home-style mashed potatoes are just the beginning. All our good, nutritious food is prepared with the same care you take in your own kitchen. The Banquet Table Buffet, all you can eat, so good you keep coming back for more.
Well, my last guest is a very special friend, and I want to tell you, I called Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell was going to be my last guest, and when we talked to Bill Curry on the show a couple of weeks ago, I told him as I hung up, Bill, I said, I think he's leaning towards Kentucky, and I really hope he comes. And I called Howard back, and I said, Howard, you're going to get bumped, Howard. I said, I can't afford you. I got Curry. And he didn't like, you know, he said, I can understand that. But anyway, I'm very happy to welcome a good friend. I want to tell you something. I think this is the best marriage that I could think of. Bill Curry, head coach of Kentucky. Kentucky for Bill and Bill for Curry. Welcome. And I know you've been here in Louisville before, but Bill was at the Louisville Quarterback Club and spoke today. I appreciate that. Well, tell us, are you happy?
Well, we're very, very happy, Paul, and the reception we've gotten here has been obviously incredible. And I don't know what Carol and I expected when we came to Lexington after the Sugar Bowl, but we've never felt the kind of, and you can feel these things if you've been around athletics as long as you and I have, and of course I haven't been around nearly as long as you have. But I've been around a long time.
I always hated linemen, I tell you that. with a sense of humor. With a sense of humor.
No, I remember when you loved us a lot.
That's right.
But there's a sense of the momentum and the enthusiasm that's been building here with the things that Jerry Claiborne has done and his staff. And it hasn't always been so fashionable to be totally honest in football, but now it is. And not only fashionable, but it's always been right. And Jerry Claiborne has done that in the football program, and he's built an excellent basis with the finest graduation rate in America. The national championship in graduation rate is at University of Kentucky. Then, to be competing in the Southeastern Conference, to be working with C.M. Newton, and to feel there's a fancy word, and we used to call it family or team. It's synergism. It's where folks who come together to do something that's really difficult can accomplish more than they ought to be able to accomplish. That's what the Packers could do. That's what all great football teams can do, and that's the sense of the Kentucky Athletic Department right now. Rick Pitino has been very outgoing in his welcoming of us. I've already been on his show, and I'm sure that is what put the pressure on you to have me on your show, and I appreciate that.
C.M. Newton will go down as the athletic director of the century as far as UK is concerned this year, I believe.
But we also remember that the most important thing is for us to get results, and the welcome is wonderful, and we appreciate it, but we're here to do a job, and we understand the realities of that, and we take that very seriously.
You know, I told Bill Curry today at the quarterback lunch, and I said, hell, here in Kentucky, we like 10-2. 9-3, you know, I mean, that'll be, I mean, you're real fashionable if you win 9 games around here, I'll tell you that. You got to tell us a little about, why did you leave Alabama, one of the great schools in tradition? Tell us a little about what motivated you to come to Kentucky.
Well, the most important reason we came to Kentucky was Kentucky. You should never jump from one job to another.
Yeah, well, I'll go for that.
The assumption in some circles was that that we were moving down somehow, and it all depends on your value system as to what is down and what is up. And we were delighted to be wanted by Kentucky, and could have continued at Alabama under good circumstances, good in terms of money, good in terms of having a good football team, and really having a realistic chance to go back to the Sugar Bowl and hopefully win the next time. Some of the greatest bunch of young people that I've ever coached are on the University of Alabama campus right now, and I'll love them as long as I breathe. But it became apparent that there were forces at work within the organization there that were creating controversy on a daily basis for our players. And when that's happening with your players and your family, and you're not being allowed to serve the people that you're sworn to serve, that's the two most important groups in my life, family and a football team, in that order, then it's clear that the unselfish thing to do is to remove oneself. And it has been wrongly interpreted as somehow walking out or quitting. All I did was to move my mission, which is to help young people to learn how to win in every part of their life, from one area to another, where we have a better opportunity to serve the people we're supposed to serve. So it comes down to that. I love to win, as you know, and it's a kind of a sickness that people like you and I have. If you can incorporate that and teach young people values at the same time, then it's worth something.
Bill, the majority of people in Alabama wanted Bill Curry. I think we should make that point. I mean, it was your decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, my mom and my dad wanted me to stay there.
Oh, it wasn't that bad now, come on.
Actually, my mom and dad wanted me to leave.
How about Carolyn?
Carolyn wanted me to leave the house.
Well, that's the most important thing, I'll tell you that.
Well, what happened was that the controversy was obviously going to be ongoing, and it was obviously from within. The outside, some people have said I was too sensitive about criticism. If I were sensitive to criticism, I wouldn't have survived the first 2 weeks in Green Bay with Coach Lombardi, and neither would you. I mean, Henry Jordan said it for all of us when he said he treats us all the same, like dogs. If you were sensitive to criticism, you couldn't survive in this business for a year, and I mean that sincerely. So I'm not sensitive to criticism. In fact, I don't pay attention to it. In fact, everywhere I've ever been my whole life, I've been told that I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. This is the first time I've ever been anywhere where I was wanted, so I don't know how to act.
And I tell you, and Billy, you know, a lot of strange things happen in athletics, and I bet it's going to stay that way. We'll be right back with Bill Curry just after this timeout.
Never imagined that a prescription would cost $80. My insurance keeps going up, and it doesn't even cover prescriptions.
The Humana Gold Plan can cover prescriptions, vision care, and all Medicare-eligible doctors and hospital costs.
There's so much Medicare still doesn't cover.
Chances are the Humana Gold Plan covers it.
It's all so complicated.
No, it's all so easy. Call 1-800-647-0070 now.
What's the advantage of leasing a new Buick from Good Buick? It's simple. You can purchase a 1990 Century and pay $259 a month for 60 months, or lease that same car for $177 a month for only 48 months. Purchase a 1990 Riviera for $459 a month for 60 months, or lease a Riviera for $387 a month for only 48 months. It's to everyone's advantage to lease. Good Buick, where the great American road leads.
In places beyond the reach of other overnight delivery companies, you'll find UPS. Because unlike the competition, only UPS Next Day Air guarantees delivery overnight to every single address coast to coast. And because we're so efficient, we can do it for up to half what other companies charge, whether the place is hard to reach or easy to reach. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
For help with the design and purchase of a new air compressor, you need Air Systems. For service or repair of your present system, you need Air Systems. For parts and lubricants for your air compressors, you need Air Systems. If your compressed air system fails at any time of the day or night, you need Air Systems. I'm Jim Turner, owner and president of Air Systems. If you need a new air compressor, parts, repair service, or emergency rental, call me at Air Systems in Louisville.
So I asked my Harold, how about a little fun and games? He was all ears. Then I confessed, I've been playing while you're at work, and tonight I'm going for it all. Maybe wind up on TV. Well, are you into fun and games?
Fun and Games is the wildest Kentucky lottery game ever. Win up to $20,000 instantly, or match 3 TVs for a chance to appear on the Fun and Games TV show, where you could win over $100 grand in cash and prizes.
All my friends want to get lucky on TV. 10 Fun and Games tickets.
Fun and Games, the wild game that's always in season.
Very good. Since the lunch today, I know Bill's been going all over the county here talking to some recruits. I just want to tell you, Bill, you've got a large group of people from the National UK alumni came in tonight. 3 former national presidents of the UK alumni are here. Let's see, Jack Guthrie, I just want to read these off. Jim Stuckert and Paul Fenwick. The president-elect this year is here, Richard Bean, and current president of Jefferson County Alumni Chapter, Kevin O'Connell, is here. And 6 former alumni presidents, all from Jefferson County, are here to, boy, you got them coming out of the woodwork, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's it. Let's thank them for showing up. Bill, I know you got your staff. Why don't you tell us a little about your coaching staff, about how the recruiting is going, and I'm just going to turn over the show because you'll probably take it over anyway. And tell us a little something right now, what's happening to the UK football program.
Okay, well, I really feel good about the kind of staff we have. We lost some outstanding football coaches in the transition who were perhaps, in one case, Don Lindsay, who's a great defensive football coach, was thinking seriously of getting out of football, which he has done. He's done a fantastic job for many years. He'll be replaced by Larry New, who's been with us now for a long time. He's an outstanding football coach, a great recruiter. They're already calling him Sarge over on the campus. He will get your attention. He's a basic 2x4 method guy.
Grass drill.
We will continue.
Do a few grass drills.
Grass drills. This actually happened. I had to tame him a little bit, but not much. I walked out the first year he coached for me at Georgia Tech before we went to Alabama. He had our defensive lineman who had blown assignments in the previous scrimmage doing up-downs on the asphalt outside the locker room.
My body was never that bad. He at least had us doing on the grass.
Yeah, but if he could have found some asphalt, I think he probably would have done that. So I told Coach New that we would try to restrict those to the football field, but he's a very hard-nosed, aggressive type personality that you need for a defensive coordinator. Offensively, Homer Smith left us and went back to UCLA, where he's done such a great job, but is replaced by Tommy Bowden, who has already been a coordinator. He's been with us for 3 years.
That's Bobby Bowden's son,
Bobby's son, and we will incorporate some of what FSU does with some of what we did, and we were able to lead the Southeastern Conference in offense last year. We went from last to first in 2 years, and I think Tommy had a lot to do with that, along with Coach Smith. So those two people will head up the two units.
I'll tell you one thing. I think Kentucky's ready for a wide-open offense, aren't they?
Let's say something there. You played in some offenses that are criticized for not being wide open enough. We just won every game, right?
That's right.
So there'll be some times when people think we're not wide open. What we want to be is balanced. We're not coming out to throw the balls 55 times a game. And in all fairness to Coach Claiborne and his staff, they had a sophisticated passing game. But with Alfred Rawls, sometimes it's going to be boring. If the guy's ramming it down their throat and we're moving it on the ground, why should you throw it? We just want to win the game. The objective will always be to win. If we need to open it up to do that, the definition, by our definition of a balanced offense, we mean the capacity to run or throw anywhere, anytime. Bart made a living, Bart Starr, throwing the ball on third and this much, sometimes fourth and this much.
But I noticed your offense against Miami, and if you hadn't have gone to that offense, quite frankly, I don't think you all would have been competitive, and I think you saw that in the film.
We wouldn't have scored. We just stayed in the shotgun all night.
That's right. I mean, that was new to Alabama. Well, that football game, you know, to stay in it that long.
To stay in it that long was new, but we had been in it a lot all year.
Yeah.
I mean, we may come out the first snap of the year next year in the first game and line up the shotgun on our 6-yard line. You never know what we're going to do. And that's our definition of balance. We may throw the ball from our 1, we may throw it from your 1, or we may run it on 3rd and 15. You want to keep the defense off balance unless you have a physically dominant team like Notre Dame. And right now, we are not physically dominant in the Southeastern Conference. We may recruit to where we become that.
What about the recruiting? Tell us a little something. You got off, I don't think you've been to bed. You've been traveling everywhere. By the way, Bill was the Coach of the Year of the All-SEC and almost won the National Award down in Houston last year. And I tell you, knowing Bill Curry like I know, tell us a little something about the recruiting. I know you're a hard worker from morning to night, and I know that's what you got to do in the recruiting business.
Well, on that Coach of the Year stuff, there's no such thing as Coach of the Year. There is a Staff of the Year, and our staff, I believe, deserved some recognition, and I was happy that that came our way for their benefit and also for our players. There's no such thing as an individual star in football. You learned that.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's one game. That's why the game of football, I think, stands out above the rest.
You know, I found out there were no such thing as individual stars when Fuzzy and Jerry missed those linebackers. You and Jimmy didn't go very far.
That's right. That's right. I thought it was more you're missing the blocks than Fuzzy and Jerry did at that time.
Well, not only did I miss them, but Coach got rid of me, if you'll remember. I missed enough that he found me expendable. But recruiting is going well. But you got to remember that we are a year, in some cases 2 years behind on these guys. I sat with an outstanding player last night in his home, and I thought we were really doing great. We had great eye contact, smile, yes or no, sir. He's saying the right things about Kentucky. And I said, man, we got a good chance to sign this guy. And he kind of sighed when we were leaving. He said, oh, I just wish you weren't so far behind some of these other schools. So there will be some discouraging moments with some great players that we would like to have. On the other hand, we're getting some commitments from some top players that I really didn't know if we'd have a chance at. So it'll be a mixed bag, especially the first year, but we're already working now on next year's recruiting. We hope to have a good recruiting year this year and a great one, increasing in its quality each year hereafter. That's what I think is
What's
the greatest.
What's the best state
of,
now, Bill, for recruiting? Is it Florida? I understand they signed 287 kids to Division I scholarships last year. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, Florida's a fine state. California's a fine state. Texas is a fine state. But the best state for us has got to be Kentucky. I mean, I just don't buy the thing that there aren't enough good football players here. We will sign some players from out of state, but we're going to focus in-state. I've seen enough that I know that we have excellent players here. I don't subscribe to the theory that because we don't have spring practice that somehow our players are behind in this state. I don't believe that. We've just got to, people tend to live up to or down to the expectations. So we'll sign players from across the country. We'll spot recruit other areas, but we're going to be into every high school in Kentucky every chance we get because we are the state institution. And it's our job to serve the young people of this state and to win with the young people of this state.
Well, before you go, I asked my little bride to bring up that little basket. Notice the little happy Italian is dressed in Kentucky blue. She likes patino, you know, Italians. Thank you, sweetheart. This is my wife, Angela, and this is for your wife, Carolyn.
Well, thank you very much.
It's what we call a little taste of Kentucky in there, and
Wonderful.
It's got everything in there.
Well, we thank you.
About Kentucky. We think you enjoy it. And I want you to also have a little remembrance of the show, a little keychain here, which you can put all your safety deposit boxes, the keys.
Thank you.
We expect to see Bill Curry's mug on a lot of things.
Paul Hornung,
in the advertising.
most valuable player, 1962.
In the Sports Showcase, Louisville, Kentucky. I just want to say how happy I am to have Bill Curry here as my final guest because we go back a long way, and it was great to see this young man come up. We both were on the expansion list, and we went to New Orleans, and Bill then got traded to the Baltimore Colts. He spent 2 years at Green Bay, played on 2 championship football teams, and then spent 7 years with Don Shula. So there are not too many people, I think, that had the opportunity to play for Lombardi and Shula, who I've always said are the 2 best coaches in the National Football League.
They were both fantastic. And I'll tell you one that's always gotten shortchanged is Don McCafferty, who did a great job with the Colts and then moved on to Detroit before a tragic death. But I wouldn't want to pass this by without saying the thing that made the Packers great were men like you. I'll never forget being the 20th round draft choice when they only had 20, and the veterans weren't supposed to speak to the rookies, but you took time with me and helped me make that team. You and Willie Davis and Bart Starr made a difference in a terrified rookie's life, and those are the things that stand out about the great teams, and that's what we want to build at Kentucky.
Well, I can only say, Bill, it's wonderful to see how far you've come, not only as a coach, but as a coach of men, because I've witnessed the kids that you had at Georgia Tech and Alabama and now here at Kentucky, and I'm sure that Kentucky's going to benefit more by you being here and vice versa, because you're a hell of a man.
Thank you.
Bill Curry. Thank you, Bill. We'll be back in a minute.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-size helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex. Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
What's the advantage of leasing a new Buick from Good Buick? It's simple. You can purchase a 1990 Century and pay $259 a month for 60 months, or lease that same car for $177 a month for only 48 months. Purchase a 1990 Riviera for $459 a month for 60 months, or lease a Riviera for $387 a month for only 48 months. It's to everyone's advantage to lease. Good Buick, where the great American road leads.
Every night while you're sleeping, UPS is maintaining its status as the only company that delivers overnight to every address coast to coast. And we guarantee it with UPS Next Day Air. And because we're so efficient, we'll still do it for up to half what other companies charge, which is guaranteed to cause our competition some sleepless nights. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Because you like some days to be all downhill.
It's the right beer now.
If this is your idea of preserving the wildlife.
It's the right beer now.
Because out here, not everything hibernates for the winter. So reach for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. Yeah, it's the right beer now.
So I asked my hero, how about a little fun and games? He was all ears. Then I confess, I've been playing while you're at work, and tonight I'm going for it all. Maybe wind up on TV. Well, are you into fun and games?
Fun and Games is the wildest Kentucky lottery game ever. Win up to $20,000 instantly, or match 3 TVs for a chance to appear on the Fun and Games TV show, where you can win over 100 grand in cash and prizes.
All my friends want to get lucky on TV. 10 Fun and Games tickets.
Fun and Games, the wild game that's always in season.
What's up? I told Bill Curry today, he's of course on his way back to Lexington right away. He's going to visit another recruit before he gets out of Jefferson County. But I told him, you mark my words, you're okay at being in a bowl within 4 years. You put it down right there. And now, I told Bill, I said, Bill, do you like Chi-Chi's? He said, I love them. I said, I'm supposed to have some passes to give you, but Billy Reed and Stallings have stolen all my passes from Chi-Chi's. And Reed's sitting at home. Billy, tell your wife, Donna, to send Bill Curry 4 passes. You got a lot of extra passes there. I don't have any left here on the show. Please send Curry 4 free dinners. You know, he's working hard, and as he goes around the state, he can get a dinner or two, you know. Now, Super Bowl. Let's look back real quick. The NFL films they really did me a favor all year long. Send me these films week in, week out. Didn't charge me an arm and a leg. And I got to looking at the films today, and I picked out what I think, and I think what you're going to agree with, are the 2 most important plays of 1989. Watch.
The final minutes of the Broncos and 49ers convincing championship game wins were filled with far more celebration than suspense. But these early victory parties may not have taken place at all were it not for 2 key plays that helped pave the way to New Orleans. For the 49ers, that play came in the first quarter after Mike Lansford's field goal gave LA an early 3-0 advantage. On their next possession, the underdog Rams looked to add to their lead and accelerate their momentum.
Come on, man, we need 7 right now. Right the hell now.
Second down at the 40-yard line. Brown in motion. Everett puts it on his hip, throws for the long one. He's got a receiver. Anderson and Ronnie Lott got there just in the nick of time. Oh, Anderson was 10 yards in the open, and Lott playing center field must have gained about 15 yards while the ball was in the air.
Safety Ronnie Lott's extraordinary effort turned out to be the game's most decisive moment, as it not only denied the Rams a 10-0 lead, but also seemed to take the air out of their passing game the remainder of the afternoon. Any LA momentum had completely dropped off, and Rams quarterback Jim Everett watched as the airways were run the rest of the day by San Francisco's Joe Montana.
Montana steps back, throws for the end zone. Brett Jones on the low, touchdown 49ers. The Rams try to come after Montana because he's got to get it to the end zone. He does! He does! It's a touchdown!
San Francisco put the squeeze on the Rams with a 30-3 victory. The 49ers never looked back after the first quarter, and while Montana kept the skies filled in San Francisco, the air traffic was also heavy last Sunday in Denver. The day's most dangerous pilot was the Broncos' John Elway, who returned to championship form to pass Denver to a 24-7 lead.
John flushed out to the right, throws it upfield for a wide open Mike Young at the 30, at the 20, at the 15, 10, 5, touchdown, 70 yards, Elway to Mike Young.
before Denver could deliver the knockout punch, the Browns pulled themselves off the mat with a pair of touchdowns in just over a 2-minute span. Trailing 24-21, Cleveland had clearly gained the momentum. Denver needed to counter with a strong drive of its own, and on their following possession at the start of the fourth quarter, the Broncos were faced with a critical 3rd and 10 at their own 43.
Toward the right side, it's caught, complete across the 40 and a first down at the Brown 37-yard line.
In the game's most decisive moment, Denver had double-teamed Cleveland's Pro Bowl defensive tackle Michael Dean Perry, who was still able to break free and flush Elway from the pocket. Quarterback can throw across his body better than Elway, and his 20-yard completion to Vance Johnson not only killed the Browns' momentum by keeping an important drive alive, it also set up the touchdown that put the game away.
Browns show blitz. Here comes the world. Sewell picks up one. Pass is complete to Winder. 30, 20, 15, 10. Sammy will score.
Cleveland never threatened again, and the Broncos coasted to a 37-21 win. Both Denver and San Francisco earned decisive victories, which may not have been possible without 2 decisive moments that cleared the final path to Super Bowl 24.
Well, quite honestly, I really believe that the game is going to be a better matchup than a lot of people believe. And as we take a look at the Denver 49ers in just a minute and dissect them a little bit more, let me tell you one thing. When we were looking back at the best offensive and defensive plays of the year, one play stood out, and I think, in each category. And the guy who makes this play on defense reminds me a lot of a man named Dick Butkus. This is the way Butkus used to play from his middle linebacker spot. This, I think, is one of the best hits, best tackles any time I've ever seen on the goal line. Watch Gary Reasons of the New York Giants perform the best play in 1989 defensively.
But the game's most telling moment came late in the third quarter with the Giants protecting a 14-0 lead. Gary Reason stood firm in his own end zone awaiting a 4th and 1 play. A play that would be decisive in New York's run at a division title.
Elway wants the crowd to be quiet. He's having trouble having his men hear the signals. 4th down at the goal line. About a foot to go. Elway, hands off. They dive. Stop! The Giants broke through. Gary Reason.
The impact knocked the ear pad out of Bobby Humphrey's helmet, and it was felt all the way from Philadelphia to Los Angeles. That victory helped determine the teams and sights of the first round of the playoffs.
Great play by Gary Reasons. Reading it, he came from about 3 yards into the end zone, threw his body right at Humphrey, and crumbled him. Absolutely crumbled him.
Unbelievable. That was one great hit. Now, we take a look at the other side of the ball. You know, there's always a lot of great offensive plays. I mean, so many that it's really hard to pick one out of a whole season. But I tell you one thing, this was something special.
On Monday night, December 11th, with the NFC West title at stake, head coach George Seifert needed nothing short of a miracle. His 49ers trailed by 10 in the fourth quarter, and the Rams were at the San Francisco 5-yard line. Then, the unbelievable occurred. A fumble by All-Pro center Doug Smith was recovered by the 49ers. The game-clinching touchdown that seemed so certain never happened. What followed on the very next play was one of the season's most dramatic and decisive moments.
Joe, a slant into Taylor. Taylor breaks a tackle, cuts across the middle, breaks another to the 30. He's down the sideline. He's to midfield. He's to the 40. He's got a blocker in front of him. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. It's a touchdown. John Taylor, another spectacular touchdown of 95 yards.
The pivotal play that ignited yet another come-from-behind victory. It gave the 49ers their 4th straight division championship.
That was the biggest play of the year for the 49ers. It killed the Rams. It got them back in the game. They went on to beat the Rams, and that that win itself, I think, really destroyed the Rams. They look back on that one play all year long. And let me tell you, the best place to play as far as an offensive end is the other side end away from Jerry Rice. Well, if you're an end on the other side, you've got a field day if they decide to throw to you, because you're only going to see man-to-man coverage all day long, because they always double-team Rice. We're going to take a look at the Super Bowl in just a minute. Stay with us.
This is the shop of Samsat Bazaar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
What's the advantage of leasing a new Buick from Good Buick? It's simple. You can purchase a 1990 Century and pay $259 a month for 60 months, or lease that same car for $177 a month for only 48 months. Purchase a 1990 Riviera for $459 a month for 60 months, or lease a Riviera for $387 a month for only 48 months.
Your Hall of Fame dealer.
It's to everyone's advantage to lease. Good Buick, where the great American road leads.
If you feel life's more interesting when you make a splash.
It's the right beer now.
If you feel a great beer starts with great water.
It's the right beer now.
Because you're the kind of person who likes to get to the bottom of things. Call for the Silver Bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
Resistant Mexican lately? Introducing Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex dinners. Texas-size helpings with a taste just as big. Like steak El Paso, spicy grilled steak, plus 2 pepper jack cheese enchiladas. There's chicken, too. For a little heat, a lot of flavor. Remember Chi-Chi's new Tex-Mex.
Chi-Chi's a celebration of food.
So I asked my Harold, how about a little fun and games? He was all ears. Then I confess, I've been playing while you're at work, and tonight I'm going for it all. Maybe wind up on TV. Well, are you into fun and games?
Fun and Games is the wildest Kentucky lottery game ever. Win up to $20,000 instantly, or match 3 TVs for a chance to appear on the Fun and Games TV show, where you can win over 100 grand in cash and prizes.
All my friends want to get lucky on TV. 10 Fun and Games tickets.
Fun and Games, the wild game that's always in season.
Well, of course, this is it. This Sunday at Super Bowl. And what a better rivalry to have than Elway against Montana, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League history. Montana, probably the best quarterback of all time in the National Football League. And I'll tell you one thing. I didn't like what Terry Bradshaw said about John Elway today. I just can't believe that. I don't see any reason to knock John Elway, for heaven's sakes. I think it always says something about the people who's doing the knocking rather than listening to somebody who's taking the knock. And I'll tell you one thing. I thought it was a little stupid. He said when Elway quits, makes $2 million a year, he'll see how tough it is out in the world getting a job. Are you kidding? He's got $20 million made before he gets out of football. What the hell does he need for a job when he gets out of football? You know, I think Terry's got a chip on his shoulder, and I just don't think it just doesn't show too much class for me for him to take a shot at Elway like that, saying he hasn't won. Elway knows better than anybody else that he hasn't won a Super Bowl. And I want to tell you something, folks. Now, the 49ers are the best, the best, the best. Do you know that since 1970, Denver is 5-1 straight up against the San Francisco 49ers? In the 80s, they are 3-0 against them. They've beaten the number 6 straight times since 1970. They haven't lost against the spread playing the 49ers the last 6 times. Now, the 49ers were the best team in professional football. They were 15-3 against the spread. They've got everything going for them except these points here. I think these points are a little bit too many. 12.5 points. In some cases in Vegas right now, you're going to see 13 before the week's over with. So I think it's going to be Denver has never been beaten by more than 7 points the last 2 or 3 years. I think it's going to be a close football game. And you watch, if John Elway can get out of the pocket, if he runs out of the pocket, he's going to hurt the 49ers, and I think it's going to be a pretty close football game. I like San Francisco to win, but I think it'll be close, and I like the 12.5 points. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Some insurance didn't even pay for your mom's allergy shots.
Or your cold last month. And because I didn't reach the deductible, it didn't pay for my stitches.
Humana has a range of plans to meet your needs, from affordable deductibles to no deductible at all.
Sue, what did my company insurance cover last year?
Nothing.
If you want coverage you can use, you want Humana.
Hi, I'm Paul Hornung. You know, 7 years ago, I decided to let J.C. Bradford handle my IRA. Why? Well, they've always given me great advice, and their track record has always been very good. Maybe that's why more than 43,000 people have over $1 billion in retirement accounts here at J.C. Bradford. So if you have an eye on the future, take a tip from me. Let J.C. Bradford clear the way.
Home-cooked mashed potatoes. In all this fast food synthetic world, there's nothing like them. Hardly a restaurant anywhere will take the time to serve you this much goodness, except one, the Banquet Table Buffet. And real home-style mashed potatoes are just the beginning. All our good, nutritious food is prepared with the same care you take in your own kitchen. The Banquet Table Buffet, all you can eat, so good you keep coming back for more.
Because you like some days to be all downhill.
It's the right beer now.
If this is your idea of preserving the wildlife.
It's the right beer now.
Because out here, not everything hibernates for the winter. So reach for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. Yeah, it's the right beer now.
I tell you, folks, I got a lot of people to thank. We've been doing this show for 21 weeks. I want to thank Coors, Ups, Humana, Chi-Chi's, and the Collins Auto Group, my main sponsors, and also the Kentucky Lottery, Air Systems, Bank of Louisville, Smith Furniture, Roof Lighting, Banquet Table, J.C. Bradford, Churchill Downs. I want to thank everybody for having a little confidence in me and in Louisville to put on a live, locally produced show with the national flavor. I hope you like it. And I can't go away without thanking the people at Store Cable Channel 11. They were just sensational. Judy Hetty, Bob Schnook, Carl Bramall, our great director over here. Let's give them all a hand here. Our little makeup lady, Colleen Laborde. She did a great job all year long. Greg Leslie, my man on the floor who led everybody. Mark Kaufman, Tyson Carr, James Watkins, Jimmy Evans, Ted Bloom, Al Kirby, Tim Michaels. I tell you, there's a lot of people that goes into putting on a television show. And the people back in the studio who get it out to you sitting there at home, Chuck Litteris and Donald Lockhart and Roger Sweeney. I hope I haven't missed anybody. And I want to tell you, I really have enjoyed these 21 weeks working with Store Cable Channel 11. I think we gave Louisville a little different look as far as the sports show is concerned. And I sure hope we can do it next year. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And thank you, everybody around here. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
The Paul Hornung Sports Showcase has been brought to you by UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business. By the Collins Auto Group, where one name means more. More selection, more value, more service. By Humana, high-quality healthcare services at affordable prices. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down the silver bullet. By your local Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, where every day is a celebration of food.